Opening scene. The machine appears without warning. No inventor, no company, no explanation. One morning, it's simply there, in the center of a museum, surrounded by armed guards, scientists, journalists, governments. Nobody knows who built it. Nobody knows how it works. There's only a small metal plaque beside it. 7 words. Replay one moment of your life. Nothing else. No instructions, no manual, no price. At first, people think it's a hoax. Then the first volunteer steps inside. A retired teacher, 62 years old. The machine activates. 30 seconds later, she walks out. Crying. Not sad, not happy, just overwhelmed. Reporters rush toward her. What did you see? What happened in there? She looks at them, opens her mouth, then changes her mind, and walks away. She never tells anyone. Then another person tries, and another and another. Every single person comes out different. Some are smiling, some are shaking. Some look terrified. But they all have one thing in common. None of them want to talk about what they experienced. And that's when the world becomes obsessed. Part 1. The question. If you had one chance, one moment, one replay, what would you choose? Most people answer immediately. Their wedding day, their first kiss, graduation, the birth of a child, a perfect summer afternoon from childhood. But then something strange happens. The longer people think about it, the harder the choice becomes, because every memory starts competing for attention. Every moment you've ever lived suddenly feels valuable. That embarrassing conversation you still think about. The last time you saw someone who's gone now. The opportunity you never took. The goodbye you never knew was a goodbye. The machine doesn't let you change anything. That's the rule. You can only experience the moment exactly as it happened. Part 2. The man who chose wrong. A month after the machine appears, a story goes viral. A man chooses his wedding day, the happiest day of his life. At least that's what he believes. He enters the machine. 30 seconds later, he comes out pale, disturbed, refusing interviews. Weeks later, he finally explains why. Because the memory wasn't what he remembered. For 20 years, he'd carried a perfect version of that day. A polished version, an edited version. But inside the replay, he noticed things he'd forgotten. His wife looked nervous, not excited, nervous. His father barely smiled. His best friend seemed distant, tiny details. Details his memory erased. The replay didn't destroy the moment, but it destroyed the fantasy. For years, he'd been remembering a story, not the truth. And suddenly people begin to wonder, what if your favorite memory isn't actually your favorite memory? What if time has been editing it? Part 3. Your choice. Now imagine it's your turn. The machine waits, silent, motionless. You've spent weeks thinking about your answer, and eventually, you choose. Not your happiest day, not your biggest success. You choose a random evening from years ago, a dinner table, a conversation, someone important sitting across from you, someone you lost. At the time, it felt ordinary, forgettable even. But now you'd give anything to experience it again. You step inside, the machine activates, and suddenly, you're there. Part 4. The replay. You're not watching, living it. The room feels real, the air feels real, every sound, every smell, every tiny detail. You hear their voice again. Not a recording. The actual voice, exactly as it sounded. You watch them laugh, watch them speak, and for a moment, you forget they're gone. You forget this is the past. You forget everything. Then you start noticing things. Little things, the way they paused before answering, the way they looked at you when they thought you weren't paying attention, the sadness hidden behind a smile, details you completely missed the first time. Because back then, you thought there would be another conversation, another dinner, another chance, but there wasn't. And suddenly you realize something painful. The most important moments in life rarely feel important while they're happening. Part 5. The truth about memories. The replay continues. You keep searching for answers, searching for meaning, but instead you discover something stranger. The memory hasn't changed. You have. The person reliving the moment isn't the same person who originally lived it. You're older now, wiser, more observant. The replay isn't revealing the truth. It's revealing how much you've changed. And that's when you understand the machine's real purpose. It was never about revisiting the past. It was about confronting it. Because memories aren't recordings. They're stories. Stories rewritten every time we remember them. Stories polished by nostalgia, shaped by regret, edited by time. The machine simply removes the editing. And some people aren't ready for that. Part 6. The final reveal. Eventually, the replay ends. The voices fade. The machine opens. You're back in the museum. 30 seconds have passed, but it feels like years. You finally understand why nobody talks about it.